Have you ever wondered how these tiny, almost invisible changes can lead to absolutely life-changing results? Well, that's the big question behind James Clear's incredible book, Atomic Habits. So let's break down its most powerful ideas together.
So let's kick things off with a story. For almost 100 years, the British cycling team was, well, let's just say they were pretty average. But then in 2003, they brought in a guy named Dave Brailsford, and his whole philosophy was this simple but kind of radical idea he called the aggregation of marginal gains. Basically, he just looked for a tiny 1% improvement in, well, in everything.
And the results, honestly, they were just staggering. The team didn't just improve a little bit, they became a total powerhouse. In just 6 years, they completely took over the sport, winning an unbelievable 5 Tour de France titles. This was no accident. This was the power of a system at work.
So how in the world did they pull off such a massive change? The secret isn't some huge heroic effort. Nope, it's about something much, much smaller. And as we're about to see, way more powerful. The compounding effect of these tiny atomic habits.
Okay, this is where the math really shows you the magic. Getting just 1% better each day doesn't just add up, it multiplies. Over a whole year, that tiny daily improvement means you end up being almost 38 times better. But, and this is the scary part, the opposite is also true. Getting just 1% worse every day brings you almost all the way down to zero. It's a pretty stark reminder that our small daily choices really do shape our future.
You can think of it like this. Habits are basically the compound interest of self-improvement. It's just like how money multiplies with compound interest. The effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. And over a few months or even years, the impact they can have is just enormous, for better or for worse.
But, if this is all so powerful, why do we give up so often? This is one of the most important ideas in the whole book. We usually quit because we just don't see results right away. Clear calls this the plateau of latent potential. Think about an ice cube in a cold room. You raise the temperature from 28 to 29 degrees, then 30, then 31, and it feels like nothing is happening. But then, at 32 degrees, bam, you get a breakthrough. All that work before wasn't wasted, it was just storing up potential. The biggest results are almost always delayed, and you just have to stick with it long enough to break through that plateau.
Okay, so knowing that small habits are a big deal is one thing, but how do you actually build them and make them stick, especially when you're stuck in that plateau? Well, let's get into the book's super practical framework for basically engineering your own behavior.
What Clear gives us is this simple, really memorable system for hacking the whole process. It's a 4-step model that our brains are already following whether we know it or not. Cue, craving, response, and reward. And what's so brilliant about this framework is how perfectly symmetrical it is. If you want to build a good habit, you have to make the cue obvious, the craving attractive, the action itself easy, and the reward satisfying. And if you want to break a bad habit, you just do the exact opposite. You make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. It's like a simple little cheat sheet for taking back control. But Atomic Habits argues that real lasting change isn't just about tweaking a few behaviors. It goes so much deeper than that. The habits that truly stick are the ones that are tied to our sense of self, to our identity.
Now, check out this difference, because this is a total game changer. Most of us focus on outcomes, like the goal is to run a marathon. But a much more powerful way to think is to focus on your identity. The goal is to become a runner. See the shift? It moves the focus from what you get to who you are. And when your habits are part of your identity, they don't feel like work anymore. They're just you being you.
Every single action you take is like casting a vote for the kind of person you want to be. So every time you go for a run, you're casting a vote that says, I am a runner. Every time you write a single page, you cast a vote for, I am a writer. These small habits aren't just small actions. They're the little pieces of evidence that build and prove your new identity to yourself.
And all of this leads us to what might be the single most important idea in the whole book. It's a complete reframing of how we should even think about progress and success.
Look, goals are great for setting a direction, but it's your systems that actually get you there. A goal is the result, right? Like winning a championship. The systems is the process. It's how you practice every single day. And here's the kicker. Winners and losers often have the exact same goals. The people who actually succeed are the ones with better systems.
And in the end, that's the real power here. This isn't just about being more productive or changing one little thing. It's about understanding that the person you're becoming is being defined by the systems you follow.
and by the tiny votes you cast every single day. So the real question the book leaves us with is this: what identity are you building, one atomic habit at a time?